In April 2021, Vanity Fair Spain posed the question, is a new era beginning for the world of travel? The article opens with, in the face of the pandemic and digitization, we have started to travel differently. Many have gravitated to local and rural tourism, while others have decided to wait patiently and save money for a 5-star trip to a transoceanic destination. Some lucky ones have also been able to choose their place of work on the map. There are those who have stayed at home, but also those who have moved through our country, teleworking every day from a different location. This has changed the tourism sector, and many travel lovers and professionals in the sector have drawn a big question mark on their heads. What will travel be like in the future? In Spain, tourism is an undisputed economic engine, and in Madrid, twice awarded the World Travel Organization's coveted title of World's Leading Destinations Meeting Space, the need to reassess, redefine, and reinvent is front and center. David Noack Pérez is the director of the Madrid Convention Bureau, and his team at the MCB is tackling that challenge head-on. Without question, the pandemic has raised the global cry for more thoughtful, intentional, and sustainable travel. And that requires destinations to be more creative than ever in redefining their role and creating a map for the coming years. In the context of sustainable tourism, David Noack and the team at Madrid Convention Bureau has done some groundbreaking work with Estro, the European Society for Radiotherapy and Oncology, for their 2021 Congress. Estro and the MCB began planning for a groundbreaking event in 2018 that would very intentionally create and nurture a legacy value for Madrid and the people of Spain. As Noack puts it, the partnership with the leading medical oncology society in Europe has been transformative. This experience has been a gift, a great opportunity. It is an important change. It is not about tourism, but about medicine. It has been a learning journey that has laid the foundations for us to start talking more about legacy events and assets. The objective of the project was the ongoing greater visibility for a treatment regimen that can effectively treat 40% of cancers, but gets only 5% of funding. Asked if other CVBs are following this path, Noack says, not so much so, but the Estro case is exceptional. Not all candidates are like that. David sees a future where the MCB collaborates with MICE players to define legacy projects and leave more value on the ground in the destination to meet and serve the local citizens. In my humble opinion, a huge step in the right direction for sure. Good day, David. How are you? Where are you?
Hello, David. Good afternoon. I'm in Madrid and I'm fine, thank you. We are optimistic. Our infection rate in the country is decreasing. We are now around 30 cases per 100,000 inhabitants, which is, I would say, good compared to where we came from. But we still are very conscious of what may happen if we do not take care.
David, first of all, congratulations, the WTO designation twice as the world's leading meetings destination. That's a lot of work, isn't
it? That's the result of the city's work, of all our industry. This was the World Award. We have received 3 times in the past 3 years the European Award. And tomorrow we will see if we, again, for a 4th year, are recognized as Europe's leading meeting and conference destination. So maybe tomorrow we're going to have one more year of success.
Well, fantastic work. I hope to see tomorrow another success for you. Being in first place is always fun, but being one of the leading world's leading meeting destinations in the pandemic was tough. I very much want to talk about this legacy value piece, but first, give us an overview of the Madrid situation. How did you fare in the last 20 months? It must have been a huge shift for you.
It has been a huge shift for us, but I would say for almost everyone. Destinations, companies, everyone has been really hit by this crisis. What we have done is just adapt to the new needs of our members, of our clients. Obviously, it was a very demanding time. There was lack of information, and we had to to change what we did. Promotion was not on the first things to do. Obviously, we had to be with our members, with our industry, and try to support them in these difficult times. And we have done, well, the best we could.
Are you seeing the numbers begin to return for you?
Well, let me answer you with one fact. I was yesterday in an awards ceremony in Madrid with a dinner with 600 people under the same roof. So yes, things are going better. We meet again without limitation, but well, wearing mask with COVID certification and passport, but things are starting again.
Well, that's really encouraging. David, during the pandemic, one of the issues that really came to the forefront for destination organizations and VCBs was the idea of really serving their local citizenry better, of leaving more legacy value in a destination once you've visited it and used it and perused it and enjoyed it. That's something, though, that long before the pandemic hit, you were working on with the European Society for Radiotherapy Oncology. The program executed in 2021, but you started planning that in 2018. So can you give us an overview of the Estro program? I think it's a fabulous program. I think it speaks very directly to the idea of legacy value. And I'm so intrigued with the way you were able to create something that had a really enduring impact, not just in Madrid, but in Spain. I think it was a really important project. So give us the high level on the Estro Legacy project, please.
Yes, David, thank you. As you mentioned in the introduction, it was really a learning process for us. It was a surprise when we first got the request for proposal from Estro, because they not only asked us for the infrastructure we had in the city, obviously, and the capacity of our hotels and the service providers, but they also included the obligation of develop a legacy project within the RFP, which was 60% of the whole proposal. So if you do not deliver a legacy proposal, there's no way that you get the business. So if we wanted to get the Estro in Madrid, we had to think about a legacy project, which was really new and difficult for us, because we had to think about radiology and oncology together, and in Spain. So we had to contact all local stakeholders, learn about what is oncological radiotherapy, and develop something specifically for Madrid and Spain that could be a legacy project for Estro. So it helped us a lot to start really, or to set legacy as an objective of our convention bureau.
David, I can't imagine the first discussions when you know the RFP is there and you're looking at legacy. The concept of what the legacy piece was going to be, there must have been many different points of ideas around what it could be. I love where you ended on. You ended on an enduring program that actually will really work to inform people of the efficacy of the radiotherapy model. But in those early days, you must have been looking and thinking about everything. I mean, they didn't hand you the legacy project. They didn't tell you what it was. They told you to invent it, didn't they?
Yes, obviously. They told us what was the situation of the oncological radiotherapy in Spain, which were the main issues that Estro had detected in Spain. And in concrete for Spain, it was the lack of information that physicians and families and obviously and people with cancer had about the treatment. So they wanted to increase the knowledge on this way of treating the cancer. And that's it. With this information, we had to present a project. So obviously we needed help, and we contact local scientists and obviously specialists in oncology and in radiotherapy, and also the National Society. And together we thought what we could do, not without bearing in mind that we are a tourism organization,
Right.
because
Right.
it's important. We have to foster tourism, but it's not us who says what has to be done in oncological radiotherapy. So it was really a work together with scientists and physicians, and it was really really interesting because we learned a lot.
So in the end, you develop a program that stays in Madrid and in Spain for years to come that's really focused on increasing awareness of the fact that radiotherapy is highly effective. It's used just 5% of the time, as the briefing said, but it could be 40. It's effective in 40% of cases. That stays in the market. I'm assuming it's an always-on channel now, and it's an ongoing advocacy for the right treatment. How does Madrid react to that? There must have been a lot of press and a lot of discussion around the idea of what you were doing. How did that play out?
Well, what we saw in this process is that there was not a source of information about this way of treating cancer. So we thought that this could be a tangible legacy for everyone. And that's why we developed this specific website, which is called inforadioterapia.com. I say it in Spanish because it's only in Spanish, because
Sure.
it's just for Spanish people. And there, everyone can find lots of information that they may not know about radiological therapy, oncology, sorry. And this was our main project, but together with a communication campaign. And obviously, the first who were really surprised and happy that we did it was the National Society of Oncological Radiotherapy. And also in our industry, it was one nice example of how you can develop legacy together in the business industry.
That legacy value it's not academic. We as destination organizations and VCBs recognize, as we said in the opening, in the pandemic, it's become critical that we have a better alignment with our local societies, and that we leave legacy value. I'm really encouraged by what I see out there. I think this is a really leading example. Do you think across the board we're going to see a greater focus on legacy value, travel, and of DMOs in particular playing a more central role in that?
Well, we will try at least. Madrid is part of a bigger or broader association, which is Best Cities. We are 11 cities worldwide working together, networking and sharing information. And also, one of our main objectives is trying to persuade the associations to act similar to Estro and include legacy proposals in their RFPs. So I think this is a nice way to foster legacy in our meeting industry. If our clients ask us to include or to hand a legacy project together with the rest of the information for the city.
So with your best cities peer, is that an ongoing discussion now? The idea of legacy value, of the concept of what you did in Madrid, is that a front and center discussion now?
Yes, actually, we're gonna meet. I think from the 2nd to the 5th of December in Madrid in a global forum, which is an annual event that Best Cities organizes together with a number of international associations. We want to talk in general about inclusion through tourism, but also specifically address the example of Estro and persuade, or I don't know how we would say it, associations really to think about including legacy in the project. So this is an objective that we have set as an association, and that we will continue working along 2022.
This is great, and let's be really clear. The meetings convention industry has always had a focus on legacy value. We just have articulated it in different ways. And the usual set of metrics is, what is the average traveler spend like? How much of the spend stays in the destination? So we're used to tracking that legacy value, but this is a different kind of legacy value. This is a legacy value impact on the social fabric of a destination. Will the Madrid Convention Bureau start to suggest to clients that there's some legacy value work that can be done here that's good for them and good for the destination? Do you see including it in proposals maybe in the future as a suggestion, even when it's unsolicited?
Well, Estro was just the beginning, and we are being really proactive. A couple of weeks ago, we present a new tool, a digital tool that we have called Plus, PLUS, which is it's platform for legacy with us, and it's an actual tool that is open to anyone who is willing to organize an event in Madrid. And what we will do with this tool is we will advise those meeting planners who want to include sustainability or legacy in the meeting, in the design of their meeting. We will help them to do so. So the idea is to be really proactive. There is an important number of stakeholders, NGOs, foundation associations that they can work with. So our aim is to be the point of contact between meeting planners and local stakeholders you can develop legacy projects with. So we really want to be proactive.
I think that's fantastic. And you mentioned the word sustainability. Just a discussion point here between you and I. Prior to the pandemic, sustainability had a very environmental focus in terms of it. When people talk sustainability, they were usually talking environmental sustainability, recycling, repurposing. It seems to me in the pandemic that a destination sustainability is now social, economic, and environmental. And when we talk to destinations about being sustainable, they talk about being part of the fabric of their society. They talk about economic benefits from the balance of trade influx. And of course, they talk about the environment. Are you seeing the same thing, David?
Yes, obviously, sustainability or environmental sustainability is just one part of the whole, as you said. We tend to focus on the environmental part, which is great and very important, but we also have to bear in mind the social sustainability. This means also that there is no impact or not negative impact with the local population, or that we can generate a positive impact on the local population. And this is something we are also really looking forward to do. And that's why we have identified different stakeholders in our city that we would like to work with.
And this really is at the core of the best cities ethos as well, isn't it?
Yes, and an example is, as we said, inclusion through tourism. I think there's a lot of things that can be done working together with associations that work with different collective groups of people that really can give us an added value to our meeting. And we or the meeting planners can also leave a positive impact on the city. So I think there's a win-win situation, and we just need to foster this.
David, I know you are literally back to back on meetings today. So one last point of discussion and we'll wrap it up. Are you seeing what Vanity Fair talked about, the emergence of a new kind of travel or a more intentional, thoughtful traveler, whether it's transient tourism or meetings? Are you seeing that?
Yes, for sure. I don't know how many of them, but it will be growing. And we see this also in the corporate in the corporate sector, where companies more and more want to include sustainability in the meetings, or even environmental or social. So they care about this. There's a lot of talking, but we also have to be active and proactive doing something. That's what we try to do from Madrid, as many other cities.
Well, I got to thank you. Madrid is a living case study of best practices and thoughtfulness in the tourism and the meeting sector. That said, closing thoughts to share with your peers around the world on key issues or anything we haven't touched on. I'll give the final word to you, David.
No, I mean, maybe in the past we tend to address any association in the same way. Now we have to think of their mission and their vision of each association, and trying to identify what is the goals that these associations wants to reach and how they can do it in our city. So this is what I would say. Have a look on the mission and the vision of any association, or particularly each of them, and try to give them a tailor-made proposal.
David Noack, a huge pleasure to talk to you. Thank you for taking the time today. Best luck tomorrow with the awards, and I hope to talk to you again soon.
Thank you, David, for your interest and for this nice conversation.